Level up your English from basic to intermediate and advanced. Juice up. To make something stronger, faster, or more exciting. Example, he juiced up his car engine to go faster. To enhance, intensify, or add extra energy or power to something. Example, the coach juiced up the team's motivation with a powerful speech. To augment or amplify the potency, appeal, or performance of a system, product, or experience. Example, firms frequently juice up promotional strategies by incorporating emotional appeals and multimedia elements. Wearing blinders. Only seeing one thing and ignoring the rest. Example, she's wearing blinders if she thinks money is the only thing that matters. To be narrow-minded or unwilling to consider other perspectives or information. Example, the CEO was wearing blinders, refusing to hear new ideas from the staff. Restricted perception or selective attention, resulting in cognitive bias or limited worldview. Example, wearing blinders perpetuates systemic bias by excluding alternative narratives and data. Guesswork. When you don't know the answer, so you try to say it without being sure. Example, I didn't study, so my test answers were just guesswork. Making decisions or answers without enough information by using intuition or chance. Example, the detective had to rely on guesswork until more evidence appeared. Reasoning or problem solving based on incomplete data, where conclusions are speculative rather than evidence-based. Example, in the absence of reliable statistics, the economist's predictions amounted to educated guesswork. Stumble into. To go somewhere or start something by accident, without planning. Example, I stumbled into the wrong classroom by mistake. To enter a situation or activity unexpectedly, often without preparation or intention. Example, he stumbled into a job opportunity while helping his friend at work. To become involved in circumstances or ventures inadvertently, typically without foresight or deliberate choice. Example, the researcher stumbled into a groundbreaking discovery while pursuing a different experiment. Flesh out. To add more details to something. Example, we need to flesh out the plan so everyone understands it. To develop an idea, plan, or description by adding important details that make it clearer or more complete. Example, the writer fleshed out the characters by giving them unique personalities. To elaborate or expand upon a concept, framework, or narrative by incorporating substantive detail, nuance, and supporting elements, thereby transforming a skeletal outline into a fully realized form. Example, the architect fleshed out the design by specifying materials, dimensions, and structural innovations. Frugally. Living or spending money carefully, not wasting it. Example, she lived frugally by cooking at home instead of eating out. Using resources wisely and economically. Avoiding unnecessary expenses. Example, he traveled frugally, choosing cheap hotels and public transport. Consumption or expenditure with deliberate restraint. Reflecting a disciplined lifestyle that prioritizes sustainability, savings, or long-term goals over immediate indulgence. Example, she invested her income frugally, channeling surplus funds into retirement accounts rather than luxury goods. Hard yards. Doing the difficult work that takes effort. Example, she put in the hard yards to finish her homework on time. Putting in sustained effort, especially in tough or less glamorous tasks, to reach success. Example, the team made the hard yards during training, which prepared them for the championship. Referring to the demanding, labor-intensive phases of work or progress that require persistence and resilience. Example, the entrepreneur acknowledged that the hard yards of building credibility and securing funding were essential before expansion. Buffer. Something that protects or makes things softer or easier. Example, the trees act as a buffer against the wind. A barrier or cushion that reduces shock, harm, or difficulty. Something that gives extra time or space. Example, he kept a buffer of 2 weeks to finish the project in case of delays. A protective intermediary that absorbs impact, mitigates risk, or provides resilience in systems. Example, the central bank maintained a financial buffer to stabilize the economy during downturns. Bog down. To get stuck or slowed down. Example, the car bogged down in the mud. To become trapped or delayed by difficulties, problems, or too much detail. Example, the meeting bogged down when people argued about small issues. To be hindered or overwhelmed by obstacles. Complexities or excessive burdens resulting in loss of momentum or efficiency. Example, the negotiations bogged down due to conflicting interests and bureaucratic red tape. Scramble. To move quickly and not very smoothly, or to try to do something fast. Example, the children scrambled up the hill. To rush or struggle to move, get something, or complete a task, often in a disorganized way. Example, she scrambled to find her keys when she was late for work. To engage in hurried chaotic action, typically under pressure or with limited resources. Example, the company scrambled to adapt its strategy after sudden market changes. Hang in the air. Something that feels present but not clear or finished. Example, his question hung in the air because nobody answered. A feeling, thought, or situation that remains without resolution, often creating tension or uncertainty. Example, the decision hung in the air while the team waited for the manager's reply. To persist as an unspoken but palpable presence, evoking suspense, discomfort, or anticipation. Example, the accusation hung in the air, shaping the mood of the entire meeting despite no one addressing it directly. Outright. Completely or fully, with nothing hidden. Example, he outright refused to help. Directly, openly, or entirely, often showing clarity or finality. Example, he bought the car outright, paying the full price at once. Unequivocally or absolutely, often used to emphasize totality. Transparency, or immediacy in action, decision, or ownership. Example, she owned the property outright, free from debt or legal encumbrances. From scratch. To start something with nothing. From the very beginning. Example, they started their business from scratch, with no money or connections. To create or begin a project without using ready-made parts or previous work. Relying only on basic materials or ideas. Example, the programmer wrote the app from scratch instead of using templates. To initiate a process entirely anew. Without leveraging pre-existing frameworks, resources, or advantages. Example, after the merger collapsed, the company had to rebuild its strategy from scratch, discarding all previous assumptions. Janitor. A person who cleans and takes care of a building. Example, the janitor swept the school hallway every morning. Someone responsible for cleaning, maintaining, and sometimes repairing parts of a building, such as schools, offices, or apartments. Example, the janitor locked the doors after everyone left the office. A custodial worker tasked with the upkeep, sanitation, and minor maintenance of facilities. Example, the janitor ensured compliance with safety standards by maintaining fire exits and monitoring building systems. On a mission. Doing something very seriously with a clear goal. Example, he is on a mission to finish his homework before dinner. Focused on achieving a specific task or purpose. Often with determination and urgency. Example, he's on a mission to save money for college. Engaged in a purposeful endeavor such as personal goals or organizational objectives with strong commitment. Example, he was on a mission to reform education policies and promote equal opportunities. Primo. Very good or the best. Example, that pizza was primo, it tasted amazing. Excellent quality, top-notch. Are highly desirable, used informally to describe something impressive. Example, the hotel offers primo service to all its guests. Of exceptional value or distinction, denoting superiority, exclusivity, or premium status. Example, the critic praised the restaurant's primo menu, highlighting its innovative fusion of flavors. Endure. To keep going even when something is hard or painful. Example, she endured the long walk in the hot sun. To suffer through or continue despite difficulties, challenges, or unpleasant experiences. Example, she endured the long walk in the hot sun. To withstand or persist through adversity, hardship, or time, often implying resilience, patience, and strength in the face of prolonged trials. Lasting or continuing over time. Example, the community endured decades of economic hardship yet maintained its cultural traditions. On the tip of your tongue. When you almost remember something but can't say it right away. Example, the answer was on the tip of his tongue during the quiz. When you are very close to recalling a word, name, or idea, but it won't come out. Example, the movie title was on the tip of his tongue, yet he couldn't say it. Partially recall, where information is accessible but temporarily blocked from verbal articulation. Example, the scholar experienced the phenomenon on the tip of her tongue when trying to recall a rare Latin term. Whimsical. Playful, fun, or a little strange in a happy way. Example, the child wore a whimsical hat shaped like a cat. Unusual, imaginative, or fanciful, often showing creativity or lightheartedness. Example, his whimsical sense of humor made everyone laugh at the party. Characterized by fanciful eccentricity, playful unpredictability, or imaginative charm. Example, her whimsical personality infused the workplace with spontaneity and creative energy. A pretty penny. Something that costs a lot of money. Example, she spent a pretty penny on her wedding dress. An informal phrase meaning something is quite expensive or requires a large amount of money. Example, repairing the car set him back a pretty penny. A colloquial idiom denoting significant financial expenditure, often implying that the cost is unexpectedly high or burdensome relative to expectations. Example, the collector's rare manuscript fetched a pretty penny at auction, reflecting its historical value.